Hey everyone, welcome back to Tommy Farms, and today we're going to be getting into a new video. And before we get into the video, please go on and click the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Let's go on and get into the video. Today I'm going to be sharing a little bit about what I'm going to be doing, what I need to do, and my plans for splits, swarms, and we'll be doing a lot more in this video, things that we need to do. I'm trying to share more week by week of what I'm doing in vlog type videos of sharing what I'm doing. So I think we should start off in this video basic and simple splits and swarms, since we're really getting close to that time of year where we're going to be having bees swarming a lot. And last year, the bees went berserk. There were so many swarms, I had to catch them. Fortunately, not a lot of them survived over winter and last year, but I was still able to get that experience. So this year, hope to minimize swarming, do some splits, and prevent any type of swarming. I don't want to lose any bees, but if I do, it happens to the best of us. But my plan for splits is to wait till swarm season comes. A lot of people are doing early splits, and I could do that. Probably would be able to do it, and I could, but I'm just going to do some later splits, a little bit more later on, like not just yet. Wait till probably about early April, mid-April, that time of the year where most people do their splits. But I'm going to be waiting until my bees swarm, because those swarm cells are the best cells, the queen cells that you can get. So that's going to be my plan there, to just wait till swarm season and do my splits. Now I have multiple options. I'll be running double deeps this year mainly. I'll do some singles depending on how strong the bees are and how much they'll build up to a double deep. If they don't, they'll stay in a single. But if they do get up into a double, I have multiple options. I have an option to do 3-frame splits. That would get about 6 halves out of 1. I could do 5-frame splits, which would get me 4 out of 1, which is still great. Or I could just do down the middle. Take 1 deep away, bring it over here. So it depends on what I want to accomplish this year, on what type of splits I'm going to be doing, whether it be 3-frame splits, 5-frame splits, and so on. So there's multiple scenarios. So I'm going to have all those at my disposal that I can use, because last night on my live stream I was talking about having multiple plans. That's what I'm going to be doing. I have multiple ideas and plans. If one thing is not achievable, I can try to go to the next. So let's say I can't do 3-frame splits, well, maybe I can do 5-frame. If I can't do 5-frame, well, I can just do down the middle. So that's my plan there. And if I do 4 or 5-frame splits out of 1 double deep, then I'll just cut off a swarm cell out of the hive that's about to swarm. I'm only going to be doing splits when they're about to swarm, and I'm going to take those queen cells and place it in each split of those 4 splits. I have 4 colonies. If I decide, I could just split 1 colony in a double deep with 5-frame splits, and I could get up to 8, which is where I want to get. So I have multiple options and multiple things that I can go to do splits. Now, if every single colony can get up to a double deep and make a nice colony, I can get more than 8 and even 10. But I'm focusing on 8, 10 colonies this year, so that's all I'm going so far. That's all I'm going to be looking at. But if I am in a situation or a scenario where I need to do more, or I have to do more, then I'll do more and I'll make more colonies. So the main thing I'm really focusing on right now is building up my bees to get ready for splits, to get ready for them to swarm, because those strong colonies are the ones that swarm. So my focus right now is to get these bees strong and healthy. And then whenever they want to swarm is when it's time to split. We're going to let the bees decide when I should split. That's how it's going to go. Maybe around April, maybe late March. We'll see how everything goes. But the main thing for us to get our bees built up is to feed sugar syrup. and I feed less than 1-to-1 sugar water. I really don't know exactly what I would feed. It's maybe 3 cups water to 1 cup sugar, somewhere around there. I feed really thin syrup. I don't really feed thick syrup. I just do much more thin syrup, since that's really what the nectar is. When they get nectar, they get much thinner. It's actually, I'm sure nectar is probably thinner than 1-to-1 sugar water by a lot. So we feed that 3 cups water to 1 cup sugar, somewhere around there. I can't be exact, but we also use Brood Booster. That's what I use, and it works great for me. We've also used Apis Biologics. I got to get more because last video I showed y'all it was fermented, terrible. So I got to get some more. I don't want to use it, so that's our plan. I showed y'all last week. I'll do some feeding today to get these bees built up. The bees are looking really, really well. A lot of good colonies. I went out there just a little bit ago, and they're actually already starting to lay. The queen's starting to go up to that double deep, to the second deep that I added on top of that first colony of last week that we checked. I put that deep on top like 2 weeks ago, and the bees are up there. The queen's starting to lay. I saw some eggs just a second ago. That's why I'm wearing my veil, because they're kind of not really happy with me. But bees are looking fantastic. I checked the other ones, and they're also looking very good as well. The others have a little bit more time to go to get up to a double deep, if they do get up to a double deep. But before we know it, it's going to be time to do some splits once they start to swarm, like I mentioned earlier, to expand our bees. And right now, the main thing right now is to build these bees up to the highest that we possibly can. So I put all the feeders on the colonies, and I opened up earlier this double deep here, this top one. There's eggs. I didn't see the queen up there, but I did see eggs, so she's up here. So that's a good sign. That means in the next 2 weeks, this thing right here will most likely be packed full. And that's going to be good for us. So then this colony right here would make us 8 colonies. I mean, this would get us up to 8 colonies, and then I have the others that if they can get up to double deeps, who knows where I can go. So it's going to be good. I really am liking the way my bees are looking right now. I'm feeding some sugar syrup, with trying to get these bees boosted up a lot more. I'm trying to look at 8 colonies. I've mentioned that I could probably get higher, which would be overachieving. But I don't want to, I want to just set my goal at 8 colonies. That's where I want to go, 8 to 10 colonies. But if I do more than that, that would be perfect. I mean, that's all I can really say. I don't want to, go too high. I don't want to say, oh, I'm going to get up to 30, 20 colonies. But because that's really unrealistic. That's where I'm sure everybody would like to go. But that's honestly just a little unrealistic. I think the realistic idea for this year would be 8 to 10 colonies. Going in with hopefully 8 to 10 colonies and come out with maybe 8 colonies. That's where I'm hoping to go. That's where I want to go. But this colony right here is looking good, and so are the others. Whole bunch of bumblebees on these flowers here at my grandma's house. See if I can find any honeybees. Yep, look at there, guys. Look there. Honeybees are collecting pollen off of this tree. Ain't that pretty cool? Look at that little honeybee, folks. Yep, I saw this tree blooming for a while, and I was wondering if honeybees collect pollen, and yeah, this could be where a lot of that red pollen I was talking to y'all about on the live stream, that could be where that pollen's coming from. little bee, bumblebee. Right when I saw bumblebees on this thing, I knew there was gonna be honeybees, because honeybees and bumblebees pretty much take the same thing. There's never honeybee right there. Hey, Miss Honeybee. There's a whole bunch of bumblebees on this thing as well, collecting some nectar and pollen. Yep. Wanted to check these flowers today just to see. I'm curious. I really don't know what this is, but there's a whole bunch of bees flying on this thing. This is where a good amount of the pollen, I think, is coming from. Yep, this is at my granddad and grandma's house. Multiple flowers and trees around here. This is, I hear a whole bunch of buzzing. A whole bunch of bumblebees. There's a bumblebee. And there's another honeybee right here. Hey, Miss Bee. Collecting some pollen. Yep, they're definitely taking this in. A lot of bumblebees and honeybees. Made a video recently, a while back, talking about all of our equipment, and this is all the nuke boxes that we have. We have a whole bunch of them, from splits and swarms, and from some nukes that we bought. We have, and some that we even built ourselves. So I'm packed with nukes. I have enough nukes if I want to do some 3-frame splits. I'll put them in a nuke box. But if I do 5-frame splits, I'm gonna go on and put them in a 10-frame box to let them build up and put a feeder in there, because I might as well. But that's but if I do want to put them in a nuke box, I have the opportunity to do that, because right whenever, if I have some packed full colonies and 5 frames packed full of bees, that's what I want. That's where I want to achieve, and have 5-frame splits that are packed full to the brim of bees. Then those are automatically going to be going into a 10-frame box. But if it's more of a smaller colony or little hive, and I want to let them build up before I put them in a 10-frame box, or I want to leave them in a nuke, or I could go double nuke or whatever, try some new things, and I have a whole bunch of nukes for that purpose. I also have a whole bunch of drawn comb, which I am going to be using a lot this year, because I value drawn comb a lot, because if you can have some drawn comb at your disposal, then you can have a lot of early help. You're helping the bees out whenever you're making splits, because they can quickly build up, which I love, because that makes things quicker a lot of times, in the most cases. So here's a drawn frame right here. Of course, it's not the best right here, but this is still very, very valuable that I can use. Now, you might be in the comments saying that this is very, very old, and yes, it is. There's some old comb in here, and I'll be very, very careful whenever I'm using old comb. Of course, everybody wants to, all the foul brood and all that stuff that there is out there that can harm your bees. There hasn't been a whole lot of, foul brood or American foul brood, EFB, European foul brood out there that I've been heard of. It can be bad when you get it, but I'm not overly concerned about it. But I am cautious of it. I'll be careful whenever I'm using drawn comb, making sure I'm looking at it very good. I've been more skeptical of, and more worried about, wax moths, because those things can get on my nerves really, really bad, because there's been times where they'll destroy comb, but this year hasn't been bad. I leave them sitting out, and there's a couple spots where there's been a little bit of wax moth, but honestly, it hasn't been very, very bad, which I've been surprised at. Here's more drawn comb over here, and a lot of this stuff is actually from whenever I made some honey, which is a good thing. They'll fix it back up very, very quickly. Like this frame right here was from the honey, and even though it's not fully waxed out, all the way, they'll build that back out a little bit. See them on this side. This is some good stuff. Look at there. There's a little spider, so we gotta be careful whenever we're doing that. So Yep. There you go. So yeah, I'm gonna be valuing and using this drawn comb a lot this year with my splits, and even with swarms, if I can catch some swarms as well. Because if you catch a swarm that doesn't have any comb, if you have some drawn comb, man, that's gonna help them out a lot. Look at this. We got some more pollen all on our pine trees, and there's much more than this that I'm showing you on the camera, but I'm not sure really if bees take that in. They might, but I sure do know that it's everywhere now. It all of a sudden just popped out a couple days ago, 1 week ago, somewhere around there, but it's all over the trees. We have a whole bunch of pine trees around our bee yard, but a whole bunch of it's pollen. yellow, and it gets everywhere on a lawnmower or on the cars or on beehive boxes. So we know it's spring whenever you see that, and you see red bud and everything else. There's the bees out there. They're looking very, very good. So it is Wednesday. It's again 73 degrees. It's very, very warm. And there's some more work that I need to do today. And lately I'm trying to do more vlog type videos where I just show y'all what I do, the ups and the downs, the good years and the bad years. So each week, each Saturday, sometime Saturday, I can't tell you exactly what time, I'll upload different times. But sometime, every Saturday, you know, I'll just be uploading videos kind of showing the bees and what I'm doing and kind of how I do it. And going on with this video, I want to just quickly open up to another hive and see if I need to add a deep. Most people run singles, or a lot of people run singles. I even run singles most of the time. I really like singles more than double deeps, but I'm running more double deeps now just to expand this year. So then next year, then I'm going to start running more singles, because a lot of times singles are much better for honey production. That's kind of what I like to do for honey production. But other people have different opinions or whatever. But as you can see in this colony, I'm running a double deep, 2 deeps. This one right here is very much full, and this one right here is starting to get full. They're starting to get up here in the middle and starting to lay. So once more of the brood in this bottom box right here gets filled up and the bees start to come out, once the queen starts laying more, she's gonna come up to the top and lay more. But there's already eggs and larvae up there. She's gonna lay more, and in the next couple of weeks, I expect that this top deep will be completely full. This colony right here is getting pretty big as well. I'm pretty surprised on how they're growing. So this colony right here, they're gonna need at some point a deep. So today, along with this video, my vlog, just gonna open this colony up and see if we need to add a deep on, put some frames more closer to the middle so they can kind of grow up a little bit more faster. So today I ain't really gonna be looking for queens or brood, because I know this colony is great. I know they're healthy. I know there's a lot of drones. But my main focus is to see where, if they need another deep, which it won't hurt even if they have only hit 7 frames full of bees, go on and put a deep on top of this colony. Because look at there, this colony is starting to get kind of big. Now, it may not look the biggest, of course, from your end, but my end is a very, very good looking colony. But the thing is, once this brood starts to hatch more, they're going to get much more bigger than this. So this frame, and some of this frame is full. So that's going to be 6 frames of bees. So I'm going to get the edges and move them a little bit more in the inside of the hive. But if these frames are starting to already get full, then I might need to consider putting a deep on top. Or they're going to start expanding before I know it, because really, bees can get pretty high in numbers in a week. Because the other hive right over here, y'all saw that on the last video. They got pretty big very fast. In only 1 week, it really changed from 3 frames to 7 frames of brood. And I don't know what's in there now. There's a wasp in here the bees are starting to kill. Get out of here. I hate these yellow jackets, but the bees will, as long as it ain't a whole bunch of yellow jackets, the bees will take care of it. The yellow jacket won't really be able to. There you go, get out of here. There you go, it's gone. I try to smash those things as much as I can. They can be a nuisance. So that tells me whenever you start seeing yellow jackets and everything else out there, I actually saw some beetles on top of here. I'm starting to see beetles again, so spring is here for most of us. So let's see here. This is like one of the edge frames. Let's see if we got any bees. It feels kind of heavy. It kind of feels like we got honey and stuff. Well, never mind. We've got a whole bunch of bees. Wow, they're starting to build over here. Gotta be careful when I put it back in, but there's a whole bunch of bees on this edge frame, so there's no really need to move it back over. There's a whole bunch of bees. Not a whole lot, not like a ton, but a decent amount. But more of honey and storage stuff, but I do see some eggs, so our queen was here very recently. So I gotta be careful when I put it back in. I'm being careful. I do not want to roll my queen or anything. That would be a worst case scenario. But there's drones out there, so if the queen dies or anything, they'll be able to make a new queen if they need to. But that would just delay my being able to split in their swarming time. Like I said earlier, I'm just gonna, these yellow jackets are getting on nerves. But like I said, I'm gonna wait till swarm season, but swarm season should be here very, very soon. So I gotta get these bees ready. I don't want them to swarm too early or too late. So it looks like they're starting to get on this frame right here. I'm gonna keep that out in the middle because I don't want to smash the queen, so I'm gonna be very, very careful. I know this middle here is packed full of bees. I know there's a whole bunch of bees on it. But I'm gonna move some of these frames here a little bit more towards the center just so they can start working them. So I don't expect those edge frames to be completely full because a lot of times they never do fill them out all the way. Now this is where it probably comes to an end. See some honey and other things. This is where it kind of comes to an end. So we got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 frames full of bees. Probably wouldn't have to add a deep, but I'm probably going to. I might as well. No need not to. That's what I did with the other one. They're starting to build up. So I'm gonna do some things with this colony. That's for sure. I'm gonna leave this frame on the edge and let them start working it back. What I'm gonna do is this frame right here. I'm gonna take it out. This edge frame. I'm gonna put a good frame that they can draw out in there. Because this thing right here don't really look good. Okay, we got a whole bunch of drawing cones, so here's what I'm going to do here, which I always do to maximize my space and get these bees to build up faster, is I'm going to move this frame right here, which has some bees on it, right over yonder over here. Got a whole bunch of bees on this frame right here. Move that right there. Like so. I'm going to take our other frame. That's right here. This is just what I do. You don't got to do what I do. I ain't telling you you have to do exactly what I do to be successful. This is just what I like to do. Especially this time of the year when I'm building up is putting that right there. I don't do this when it gets cold, but since it's warm, it's fine to do so. Now we're just going to move this frame right here. Know for sure that we have a whole bunch of bees in the middle. Right there. Whole bunch of bees on this frame. Whole bunch of bees on these frames right here in the middle. Now I put my frame right there. Now I've talked about on my channel before. Rolling the queen, being careful. A lot of times whenever you're doing work like this, beekeepers like me and all have to put it right in the middle. It's hard to avoid that sometimes, but even if you just gotta be careful. Like whenever you're gonna do this, there's a good space right here though. I really don't think I'm gonna harm the queen because I put a lot of space in between these frames, and I just go slow and steady. I don't go too fast. If the queen's there, just go slow. Now the bees can work that frame of drawn comb and use it, and once these bees start to hatch, they're gonna move on out everywhere as well. But this colony is pretty much packed to the brim as well with bees. Now this is a very nice box of bees. And I'm very, very happy with the way they look. So the good thing is also that I can do is if I don't want to split all my bees, and I'm not going to leave these girls out for too long. I'm just going to go on and put the top back on so that I can make a quick decision about if I'm going to put a deep on, which I don't really see why I wouldn't. I got to close it up first because I got to be careful with robbing. Which there's a whole bunch of pollen and nectar out there. I don't think they're going to want to rob. Easy does it. This is a nice colony. They look good. They're going to be pretty good. But what I was saying was, what I can do is that my other colony that's very strong as well, as long as they grow up to a nice little double deep, packed full of brood and honey, I can do 5 frame splits out of that and get up to my 8 colonies that I want. And what I can do with these other 3 is just use them for production hives. I have that opportunity if I want to. But if I just want to split them all, I can do that. So I got multiple options, but here's where I'm thinking I'm gonna do. I think I'm going to use these two strong colonies as splits. I'm gonna do double deeps and probably do 5-frame splits, ordinary splits, walkway splits, but 5-frame splits. I could do, if I did double deeps, I could just do it down the middle and make them very, very strong if I want to do that. But I believe I'm just gonna do 5-frame splits and do them as strong as I can. Make sure these bees are strong, put them in a colony. But I'm gonna wait till swarm season, like I was saying earlier. I'm gonna wait till swarm season. And once they make some cells, just drop them in the 5-frame splits that don't have a queen. And then take the queen away into another harvest as well. Y'all get the idea. That's my plan there. Hopefully that's going to do what I want to do. Then the other two colonies that are a little bit more smaller, that will get up to a single, I could put a honey super on there and see if I can get any honey. I can try if I want. Or I could use those colonies. What I could do is I could just try to raise queens out of those colonies. I mean, I got multiple opportunities I can do with these 4 colonies. But this year, I think it's really going to just be expanding. It's going to be my main focus. Alright, so here's the second deep. I'm going to put on these girls. And here's the thing, even if they're maybe not just ready for it, I want to go on and have this deep on here, so just in case if they are trying to wanting to swarm, because I don't want them to swarm just yet. I want them to get into this double deep and, then swarm. But I just don't want them to swarm just yet. I gotta replace this one. I don't put this one in there. Try not to kill bees, but get that off. There we go. Got ourselves a 2-story double deep colony. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put this lid back on. We're gonna leave these girls alone for a while. We'll come back and see if they come up here. Give them some time. I'm not in no rush for them to come up here and do anything. They're just gonna have this up here, so just whenever they want to start expanding up into the second deep, they'll have the second deep to expand it. So this is my plan to have